With the stellar success of the Iron Man film franchise, it's easy to forget that the Golden Avenger wasn't always the major player in the Marvel Universe that he is now. The character's never exactly been a C-lister, but until Robert Downey Jr. infused the role with his irresistible humor and charisma, you couldn't exactly call him an A-lister either. Because so much of the superhero's popularity is based on the films, it's easy to forget how much the source material differs from what you've seen on the big screen. So as a little reminder, here's the untold truth of Iron Man. A different setting. The opening scene of 2008's Iron Man is set in Afghanistan, where Tony Stark is showcasing his weapons technology. But most Americans probably didn't even know the name Afghanistan in 1963. Instead, Tony Stark's origin in Tales of Suspense number 39 was set in a more recognizable locale to readers of that time, Vietnam. According to Stan Lee, his goals for the story of Tony Stark made Vietnam a fitting setting. Lee knew exactly who the Marvel readership was, and he wanted to create a character that challenged both himself and his readers.
I'm gonna come up with a character who represents everything everybody hates, and I'm gonna shove it down their throats.
A boy and his dog. If you only know Iron Man from the movies, you may be surprised to learn that, for the majority of his existence, Stark kept his superheroic identity a secret. To the rest of the world, Iron Man was actually Tony Stark's bodyguard, a nameless Good Samaritan keeping the super-rich Stark safe.
Do you honestly expect us to believe that that was a bodyguard in a suit that conveniently appeared, despite the fact that
I know that it's confusing.
Iron Man didn't reveal his true identity until 2002's Iron Man number 400, when he donned his armor in public without any attempt to hide. Despite what you might think, it wasn't because of a villain's blackmail or anything. He just did it to save a dog. In the story, Stark notices a dog about to get hit by a bank robber's car and leaps into the fray at the cost of his secret identity. Now that's a lucky pooch.
Truth is, I am Iron Man.
You're fired. For a CEO and billionaire, Tony Stark isn't great at keeping jobs. In 2004's Iron Man number 78, Tony Stark was confirmed as the United States Secretary of Defense. His appointment was short-lived, however. As part of the Avengers Disassembled event, which featured the Scarlet Witch using her powers to destroy the team, Stark found himself magically drunk at the podium of the UN. The drunk Stark became quickly enraged and threatened a visiting politician. Even for politics, threatening visiting dignitaries with laser blasts was just a step too far, and he soon lost the cabinet position. Seems fair. But that wouldn't be his last high-profile appointment. In 2007, at the end of Civil War number 7, Stark was named Director of S.H.I.E.L.D. Unfortunately, he would lose that position by 2009 following Secret Invasion. Making matters worse, he got replaced by Norman Osborn, the Green Goblin. How embarrassing. How would you feel about getting replaced by this guy?
You know how much I sacrificed?
Yeesh. Fighting Hawkeye. Iron Man is a founding member of the Avengers, acts as their main source of finances, and as the supplier of all the stuff they tend to break. He also has a knack for bringing in other long-serving Avengers, like the arching Avenger Hawkeye. Clint Barton first found his way into the Marvel Universe in 1964's Tales of Suspense number 57. Enamored by the seductive Black Widow, herself a villain at the time, Hawkeye fought Iron Man to help her steal Stark's technology. A year later, in Avengers number 16, Hawkeye became a hero as part of the new roster of Avengers, along with Captain America and 2 other former villains, Quicksilver and the Scarlet Witch. But just because Hawkeye was on the side of the Angels doesn't mean that he wouldn't fight Iron Man again. Hawkeye joined the ranks of another super team, the Defenders, right before 1973's Avengers Defenders War broke out. When the two teams squared off against each other, it was Hawkeye and Iron Man who battled in 1973's Defenders number 9.
Just can't seem to miss.
Well, first time for everything.
Made you look.
A true Hulkbuster. Tony Stark and Bruce Banner might be science bros in the MCU, but the two have gone head-to-head more times than most friends. Iron Man has even managed to get the upper hand on a couple occasions. Iron Man's first and most memorable victory over the Hulk occurred in 1980's Iron Man number 132. In the issue, Iron Man put 100% of his armor's energy into a single punch, and with it he was able to KO the Green Goliath. Stark rendered the Hulk unconscious again in 2009's Mighty Avengers number 22 by blasting the Hulk with an exploding rocket booster. Ironically, as successful as the Hulkbuster suit was in Avengers Age of Ultron, Iron Man has never been able to defeat the Hulk while wearing the Hulkbuster suit in the comics. Every Iron Man Hulk fight involving the Hulkbuster armor has ended in a cancelled fight, or with the Hulk having busted the Buster.
I'm sorry.
The Thorbuster Armor. You hear a lot about Tony Stark's Hulkbuster armor, but the Hulk isn't the only fellow Avenger that Iron Man developed a specific armor to counter. In Marvel's 2003 three-part mini-event, Standoff, Dr. Doom manipulated international events to set Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America against each other. Not knowing how else he could even stand a chance, Stark created his Thorbuster suit. Powered by an Asgardian crystal that Thor had previously given Stark as a gift, the Thorbuster rig looked like a marriage between Tony's classic red and gold suit and the Destroyer's armor. But ultimately, it wasn't enough. Thor destroyed the suit's reactor and Tony ejected from the armor. The only thing that seems to get busted when Tony pulls out a Blankbuster suit in the comics seems to be the suit itself.
Get you comfy. You happy now?
Thanks for watching. Click the looper icon to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Plus, check out all this cool stuff we know you'll love too.